What's going on, everyone? This is Luke from South Beach Sports and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my personal favorite to become the next Dolphins head coach, and that is 49ers offensive coordinator Mike McDaniel. McDaniel is one of 5 assistant coaches that the Dolphins have asked for permission to interview, the other 4 assistant coaches being Cowboys defensive coordinator and former Atlanta Falcons head coach Dan Quinn, current Bills offensive coordinator Brian Daboll, Cowboys offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, and current Cardinals defensive coordinator and former Dolphins defensive coordinator Vance Joseph. Before I get into my thoughts on Mike McDaniel, let's talk a little bit about where he has been as a coach. He started his coaching career in 2005 with the Denver Broncos as an intern. He was then an offensive assistant with the Houston Texans from 2006 to 2008. He was then a running backs coach for the Sacramento Mountain Lions of the UFL, I believe, from 2009 to 2010. He then moved on to work under Mike Shanahan in Washington as an offensive assistant from 2011 to 2012. He was a wide receivers coach in Washington in 2013, moved on to Cleveland and became a wide receivers coach for the Browns in 2014. He then worked under Kyle Shanahan and Dan Quinn with the Atlanta Falcons from 2015 to 2016. He then went on with Kyle Shanahan to San Francisco to work as the run game coordinator from 2017 to 2020. And this season in 2021, he served as the offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. Since McDaniel has arrived in San Francisco, the 49ers rushing attack has been very good. In 2017, they ranked 20th in rushing yards per game. In 2018, they ranked 12th. In 2019, the year they made it to the Super Bowl, they ranked 2nd. In 2020, they ranked 15th. And in 2021, they ranked 7th. It also must be taken into account that the 3 worst rushing seasons under Mike McDaniel has been when Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers quarterback, has missed a majority of their games. So when Garoppolo is out there throwing the football, and Garoppolo is a very average quarterback, but when you at least have a quarterback who can put pressure on an opposing defense through the air, the rushing attack just opens up so much. Let's compare those rushing numbers to the Dolphins' rushing numbers since 2017. In 2017, the Dolphins ranked 29th in rushing yards per game. In 2018, the Dolphins ranked 19th. In 2019, they ranked 32nd. In 2020, they ranked 21st. And in 2021, this season, they ranked 30th. This season as San Francisco's offensive coordinator, the 49ers offensive numbers have been very respectable. They rank 13th in points per game, 7th, as I said, in rushing yards per game, and 12th in passing yards per game. I have no doubt in my mind that Mike McDaniel would revamp what has been a very pedestrian Dolphins offense for the past 20 years. They haven't ranked in the top 10 in total yards per game since 2001. That is absolutely insane. The Dolphins' rushing offense has also been very lackluster for pretty much the past decade. Yes, in 2016, they had that one season under Jay Ajayi when he had 1,200 rushing yards, but besides that, there really hasn't been much in that Dolphins rushing offense. With Mike McDaniel as their head coach, the Dolphins rushing offense would be very creative. It would be very diverse. I watched some 49ers rushing film from this season. There would be a lot of pulling, a lot of misdirection. I imagine that Jalen Waddle would be used in a similar role that Deebo Samuel served this season with the 49ers. Samuel is one of the most fun players to watch in all of football, and the 49ers did a great job of using him in just a multitude of ways, both as a receiver and as a running back. Also with Mike McDaniel, you could expect to see the fullback being used again in the Dolphins offense. The fullback, Kyle Juszczyk, was a very key clog in that 49ers offense, and I would expect the same in Miami. Another reason why I would be so thrilled to bring on Mike McDaniel as the next Dolphins head coach has to do with the zone running scheme of Mike Shanahan and Shanahan's coaching tree. The 2 names I'm going to focus on when talking about Mike Shanahan's coaching tree is Kyle Shanahan and Sean McVay. First with Sean McVay, he has become one of the best young coaches in the NFL, and for only being a head coach for, I believe, 4 seasons now, he has a very impressive coaching tree, led by the likes of Matt LaFleur, who's currently the head coach in Green Bay, Zach Taylor, who was the quarterback's coach actually with the Dolphins, now he's the head coach in Cincinnati, also led by Brandon Staley, who is the head coach right now for the Chargers, and Jed Fish, who's the head coach right now at the University of Arizona. Also under that Mike Shanahan coaching tree is Kyle Shanahan, who led one of the best offenses in recent memory with the Atlanta Falcons in the year that they made it to the Super Bowl. And McDaniels has followed Shanahan pretty much every step of the way since their days back in Washington. McDaniel has been Kyle Shanahan's right-hand man through a lot of Shanahan's coaching tenure back in Washington and then on to Cleveland, and then when Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons, and now when Shanahan is the head coach in San Francisco. McDaniel has been there along the entire way, and they both think very highly of each other. And this is a big deal considering that Shanahan is, in my opinion, one of the best and brightest offensive minds in all of football. I consider it to be a big deal that Mike McDaniel would fall under just another branch of that Mike Shanahan coaching tree, considering that a lot of the young offensive-minded head coaches in the NFL fall under that same tree. Coaching trees matter in the NFL. Look at the Bill Belichick coaching tree. While Belichick is one of the greatest coaches in the NFL and ever, his coaching tree is quite lackluster. There is pretty much a reputation that his assistants tend to flame out. That is not the case with Mike Shanahan. Before I wrap up this video, I am going to talk about some of the concerns that I've seen a lot of people having about the potential of a Mike McDaniels hire, and these concerns are valid. I don't necessarily agree with them, but they are valid nonetheless. One main concern that I have, and this is probably the major one, is that Mike McDaniel would be a first-time head coach, and that's a valid concern considering the past, I don't know how many head coaches that the Dolphins have hired and have subsequently flamed out have all been coordinators. And to this I say, yeah, look at the majority of coaches hired around the NFL. They are coordinators. Last coaching carousel, the 7 head coaches that were hired, 6 of them were coordinators, and the other one that wasn't a coordinator was a college head coach, in Urban Meyer. We all know how that ended up in Jacksonville. The main point that I'm trying to make is just because past coordinator hires for the Dolphins haven't worked out, such as Adam Gase and Joe Philbin and Brian Flores, that doesn't mean that the next coordinator hire wouldn't work out as well. Every coordinator and coach that the Dolphins hire have to be evaluated on a mutually exclusive basis. The tenure of Adam Gase shouldn't cloud your judgment on the potential hiring of someone like a Mike McDaniel, for example. Mike McDaniel is a completely different coach than Joe Philbin was, and Adam Gase was, and Brian Flores was, and he should be treated as such. I've seen a lot of Dolphins fans clamoring for these former head coaches, and while yes, there would be positives that would come with that, there's nothing to say that their next head coaching tenure with the Dolphins would be any different than their past head coaching tenure that flamed out. Another concern that I have seen when talking about the potential of McDaniel becoming the next Dolphins head coach is that he is not a leader of men, supposedly, or a tough guy or a hard-nosed coach. And to that I say, just look around the NFL and look at the coaches that have been hired around the NFL. Look at the playoffs. Look at some of the coaches that are coaching in the playoffs. Look at Zach Taylor, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Nick Sirianni. These are your smartest guy in the room type of coaches. These aren't your hard-nosed, defensive-minded guys such as a Brian Flores. These are your analytical guys, your so-called offensive geniuses. The landscape in the NFL is changing, and it's changing for the better, I think. I'm very happy to see these smartest guy in the room, X's and O's guys, getting chances to be head coaches. And McDaniel, by many, is considered to be an offensive genius in San Francisco. Ask players there, ask coaches, they consider him to be an absolute mastermind. And just looking at the changing landscape in coaching in the NFL, McDaniel would fit that landscape perfectly. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope I convinced some of you on my favoritism towards Mike McDaniel, this Dolphins coaching search. And if you disagree with me, please explain why. Comment down why. I would love to have a discussion with you. Like always, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on that post notification bell so you do not miss a single video. And like I already said, comment down below your thoughts on Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins coaching search as a whole. With that being said, I will catch you later. Peace.